Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today we're going to look at the Junxing H22 takedown recurve bow. Now this is a hunting recurve. It's 60 inches axle, and what makes this bow unique is it uses international fitting limbs, so they actually clip together. Most of your cheaper hunting bows that come out of China are screw-in limbs. So we're going to have a look at this. This is what the package looks like. This is what it looks like inside. So each limb's individually wrapped, the handle's individually wrapped. So we'll just take apart the handle. Now I'm a big fan of international fitting limbs because it's just so simple. They clip together. So you're saving time, like just to set it up, it's just clipped together. So as that blows away. So this is the riser. It's really nicely finished. So there's your international fitting limb system here where it clips in. There's your limb bolt. This is interesting. So with most international fitting limbs, so you got your limb bolt here and you've got a locking system on the back. You've got no locking system. So with most of the international fitting limbs systems that you have on bows, you can wind it up or wind it down to adjust the poundage. And with this here, I'm just going to wind this out. So that's the length of the thread inside that riser. So you have got a little bit of adjustment out to decrease the poundage, but not much. So I'm just going to wind that in. But still a simple system. You've got no ability to adjust it left to right like you do on the target recurves. Now the riser through here is dead flat, so if you're going to shoot off the riser, you're going to need to pad it out there. So I generally pad it out with a bit of D-loop cord. So I put the backing on with a bit of D-loop cord. So I put D-loop cord, then wrap the padding around it. Now the shelf here is flat. There is a slight curve, but not enough in my opinion for shooting off the shelf. So again, I'd use a bit of cord, so wrap it down there and sit the shelf on top of that. But if you're going to shoot a stick-on arrow rest, you stick it straight to it and you're done. So small sight window, nothing on the back here for fitting a sight. The sight window here is too small anyway for a sight. No stabilizer hole. This is basically for a traditional shooting bow. Price point on this bow about 250 Australian dollars. So it's going to put it in American dollars, probably around 150. So this is really affordable. It's one of the most affordable hunting recurve bows available, and it has international fitting limbs. So these are the international fitting limbs from Junxing. And the first thing you're probably going to say is, well, I don't know what Junxing is, who they are. Now they make bows for a lot of companies, and the companies then brand it as their own. So it could be brand X and Junxing actually makes it for brand X. So for me, I buy this as a H22. I could have this rebranded as the Eagle recurve or as the Longhorn recurve by Big Sheep Archery. You know, that's basically where you see these things. So the limb tips themselves look nice. Laminate, two things of wood through here, so it's going to be a bit smoother. Fair bit of recurve on the limb, so that's quite good. So that should shoot quite well. That's the international fitting system. So on some of them, some of the international fitting limb bows I've had, this spring hasn't pushed in all the way, so it stopped the bow, stopped the limb going in. So you've just got to check that. There's a little screw on the front here, and inside there's a spring with a little. Now it's got the pin which clips into. So we're going to clip these limbs in. Now there's an upper and a lower. I don't think there's any difference between upper and lower. So I go lower. It just should simply clip in like that. You can see it doesn't fall off. It's really nice when it does clip in. And then sometimes it doesn't really want to clip in, but anyway, it clips in there. Look, I find this quite nice. I haven't actually shot this bow before. It's quite a nice fitting system. Looks nice. It's got a red tinge to the wood, like a purpley sort of colour. That's kind of what it looks like. So what else comes? It's rather windy. So it comes with an Allen key to screw the limb bolts in and out. It comes with a string, and it comes with some felt. Now there's no bow stringer, so if you are going to get this bow, buy yourself a bow stringer. I prefer the tip to tip, so it goes to the limb tips. And you're going to have to tie on some knocking points to the string. Now I'm a big fan now of tie-on knocking points because it pinches the arrow less and it hurts your fingers less. It takes a few minutes more to do, but I'm a huge fan of tie-in. Now I used to be against tie-in knocking points because the time convenience factor of brass knocking points, but now I've gone to use them. I wouldn't go back to the brass because the brass marks my tab, hurts your fingers and it pinches on the arrow. The tie-on ones are lighter, so increase speed. So there's the hair. Now if you're going to apply that to there, you move the hair's pointing forward and put the rope under that when you fit it. Now when you've got your string, the way you know your top, the top's got the big loop, the little one goes to the bottom. And that's because the big one slides over, little one doesn't. Little one goes straight down the bottom like that. Big question I get is about brace height on recurve bows. Brace height is the distance from the grip to the string. Now if you increase the brace height, so making your string shorter, you put more tension on your limbs, so you make the bow heavier, but you've actually decreased your working area of the bow, so you actually slow down the bow but you increase the poundage. Now in my testing, basically because I'm increasing the poundage of the bow but decreasing my working area of the bow, it has virtually no effect on speed of the bow, so just take that in mind. Now I found it does make a difference with noise on the bow, so you may adjust your brace height to try and tune the noise of your bow to reduce the noise. Now I had one customer in the last week, his recurve was really noisy. It was like a huge crack when he shot it, so I fitted his limbs to my bow, made no noise. I fitted my limbs to his bow, it made no noise. I fitted his string to my bow, made no noise. And I was like, well, I don't know what it is, because I tried every combination, and I thought my last thing was to fit a different string to his bow. I fitted another string and it completely quietened the bow. So if ever you, and I've got no idea why it made such a difference. It wasn't the brace height, it was just the different string, which was just crazy. So sometimes, like to silence the bow, and that's what you're going to be talking about for hunting bows, you can put brush deflectors up here, which is where the string touches the limb. You can put felt on the back of the limbs through here. You can put silencers on the string to take away the vibration. And there's rubber things you can actually fit to the inside of your limb where the string actually slaps it to reduce the noise, and you can fit limb saver dampeners to the limbs to reduce the vibration of the limb. All this stuff will reduce the noise of the bow. Now when you first string your bow, look at it from the front here. Don't look at it on this side, because if it's not on properly, you'll whack yourself in the eye. You can see there it's on properly, and on there it's properly. Now I'd normally put knocking points on, but I'm not going to for this because I just want to see what it feels like to shoot. This is a 45-pound bow. They come in 55 right down to 30 pounds. Let's just try the draw cycle. Now the first time when you draw a bow, it may make a bit of noise, so this to me feels incredibly smooth and light. So I shoot about 42 pounds from my target recurve. And you can see I'm pulling a bit of this back with really no problem at all. So this is going to be interesting to see what it feels like to shoot. Okay, so one of the big questions I get is whether to use a glove or a tab. Now for my hunting setup, or recreational bow like this, I use a glove. Just because it's convenient, gives me full flexibility. This is a nice soft leather glove, I've had it for years, and eventually your fingers kind of mold into it. So I'm a big fan of feathered arrows for traditional shooting because feathers straighten up quicker, and if this comes through and hits the riser, the feather just folds in. With a plastic vein, that's going to cause it to kick up. So huge fan of feathers when it comes to traditional, whether it be longbow, recurve, just finger shooting in general. You can see the arrow slides up the string. Now the clip on the string is about right, but you definitely need knocking points on this string, and now I haven't put them, so I'm going to just I just want to feel what this bow's like to shoot. You know, when it comes to cheap recurve bows compared to the $1,000 bows, I am amazed how good this bow is. You just shoot it and you go, this is good, and it's cheap. It's not very noisy at all. And like I said, I've got no silencers. Now, if this was a recreational bow that I just recreationally shoot with, like on my mum's property, where I just walk around the course and just twang some arrows, I don't need silencers on the string, but I may choose to have silencers just because I want a nice quiet bow. Now, if I was going to have use this for hunting, I want 45 or greater, so I'd probably shoot 50 or 55 pounds and build up to the bow for hunting. In which case I'd definitely be fitting the silencers. I'd be fitting every bit of silencing I can get to the bow to make the bow really quiet, because I don't want the animal to hear the string. Look, I kind of say this about lots of things, but when it comes to picking a traditional recurve bow, the biggest thing in my opinion is the quality of the limbs. And basically what happens with the cheaper recurve bows is the limbs will stack as you start pulling it back, so they'll get to a point where they basically won't want to pull back any further. These limbs are good quality limbs, and I think this is the same limbs that they use on their target recurves, and they're just like, they're finished nice. You see there's no branding on them, and there's no branding on it because they'll brand it to your own bow. So it's at the end of the shot, you can hear the little bit of twang, but it's not bad. This is as good as any bow I've shot as far as noise. The draw cycle's good. Like, it's as good as anything. The 60-inch axle, limb to limb. 62 gives you less pinch. 58 gives you more pinch on your fingers. A 58-inch bow will have a smaller brace height. A 62-inch bow will have a longer brace height. So you don't get anything for nothing, basically. For a guy who's an average size, like I'm an average size, 5'11", 5'10", 60-inch is probably what I'd choose, just because it's a nice in between the 62 and this 58. But to me, that's nicely finished. Limb tips look nice. I've had no problems with Junxing. If I have a problem, they tend to fix it. You'll see the little marks there just through me shooting because I didn't put the felt on. That will just rub off, and you can see it just rubbing off now. But if you're going to use this bow, definitely fit the pads and run that D-loop cord in the middle just to create a little ridge there. Tie some knocking points onto the string and you're in business. This is a nice bow. Get yourself some arrows with feathers and go and enjoy yourself. Go in the bush or just shoot some trad in your backyard and have a good time. Thanks for watching. Bye.